Yes, sir. Dr. Umar, my question is, you actually touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to see if you could reiterate on this. One of the things that I noticed in my research was that after a lot of our black leaders were assassinated, one of the key things that I noticed was that a lot of the civil rights leaders were given government jobs. And I noticed that once they got those government jobs, the phrase came out, well, I don't want to lose my good government job. And a lot of the civil rights leaders, when they left, because of, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and so on and so on, was either assassinated or they were put in jail. When you get an education, I have my master's degree, I did not leave the hood. I bought my house in the hood. I still live with my people, and I talk to my people every day. So I listen and try to practice some of the things that you talked about, but I wanted to know if you could actually touch on that again, as far as staying in the neighborhood, and then you also talked about how when African Americans get education from these white institutions or even black institutions, it's geared more to get you out of the neighborhood than staying in the neighborhood.
Without question. We had this conversation when I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. I said that based on my analysis and my study, that college has hurt black people more than helped it. As you said, it distances black people from the community. It motivates them to move away from their people. It creates a I'm better than everybody else mentality. And even if it doesn't do all that psychologically, economically, it puts black people in debt. We got over 2 million black people with master's and doctorate degrees in this country who cannot find a job. So college has not been a blessing, which is why the new school that I'm building, and any school, should focus on teaching our children skills that allow them to earn a living without college. We have to go to a economic system that does not require college education, an educational system that does not require college. I'm teaching our children how to be farmers. I'm teaching our children how to be real estate persons. I'm teaching them how to be able to make a decent, healthy living without a single day in college. That's my purpose. My purpose is not to prepare kids to go to college. It is not. My purpose is to prepare them to go into business. That's what I'm working on. So you're absolutely right, my brother. Absolutely right. That whole college education, miseducation of the Negro, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, he hit it on the nose. The college-educated black is seldom of any use to his race. The education that he gets tends to take him away from his people more so than links him into his people. So we have to create an alternative. This is the year. This is the year. This summer is the year of reflection. 100 years of Garvey, 60 years of school deseg, almost 150 years of so-called emancipation, 50 years of civil rights. This is the reflection year. Where do we go from here? We got to reflect on everything. We have to analyze everything. Nothing is beyond scrutiny. Nothing. And I know I make some of my elders mad when I talk about this whole history worship thing that we got going on in the black community. I don't think it's serving us well. I think we need to teach our history. I think it is important. I think it is critical. I think we should continue to do it. But we shouldn't continue to do it if we're not going to build opportunity for our children. Our children need opportunities more than a history lesson. You cannot teach a hungry man. You cannot teach a homeless man. You cannot teach a naked man. Dr. Amos Wilson used to speak on this, which is why I think he and I are very similar in our approaches. And obviously, he's my number one scholar of all time, without question, because he was the most relevant one. He dealt with the practical issues of black people. He wasn't an escapist. We have a lot of escapists in the black community. We got dietary escapists. We got historical escapists. We got religious escapists. We got conspiracy theory escapists. And what is an escapist? Because I want to make sure people understand me. When I say somebody is a dietary escapist, I'm not saying that dietary science is not important. That's one of the cornerstone sciences that's going to be taught at my school. A dietary escapist is someone who tries to reduce the problems of black people down to eating right. Even if you eat right, you got to deal with white supremacy. Even if you eat right, you got to have a job. So escapism is a strategy of trying to offer a overly simplistic solution to the problems that affect black folk, because your ass really ain't interested in solving them. A historical escapist isn't a historian. Even I teach history all the time, okay? But a historian escapist is someone who wants to reduce the problems of black people to simply knowing your past. That is incorrect. Conspiracy theory escapists try to reduce black people's problems down to understanding the conspiratorial nature of white supremacy and not dealing with anything beyond that. Okay? You got all types of escapists. I'll give you a good example of an escapist. Many of y'all remember Tony Brown. Tony Brown of Tony Brown's Journal, a very conservative, elitist Negro who I believe took over the journalism program at Hampton, but I heard he did an excellent job. So I definitely want to praise the work that he did at the historically black college, whether it was Hampton or another place. I heard he came in, cleaned it up, turned it around, and put it to action. I commend him for that. But he was a technology escapist. And what do I mean by that? When people would ask Tony Brown about racism, and I've seen him give a lecture when I went to Millersville University, you know what he said? When people asked him about white supremacy, he said, it's not about race. It's about having the computer literacy necessary to take hold of the future. He said the future is not going to belong to black or white. The future is going to belong to the children who can program computers and who can read computer language and who can build. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now, of course, he said this years ago, and hopefully he changed his position if he's still around, and I believe he is. If he's not, bless him, but I believe the brother's still here, okay? That's what you call escapism. He dealt with racism by saying we need to teach our kids how to use computers. You get other people deal with racism by saying we just got to learn our past. Other people deal with racism by saying we got to know who the Illuminati is. Other people just make sure you eat vegetarian food. That is not enough. There is no magic bullet, and I don't like escapists. Fighting this problem we got is going to take hard work and elbow grease. What I'm trying to do to raise this money for the school, hard work and elbow grease. Hard work and elbow grease. You see. So that's, I know I've said a lot, but that's what I want to offer to the conscious community. Stop talking and start building.
Caller at 4505. Did you have a question for Dr. Umar?
I do. Greetings, Dr. Johnson. How are you?
Greetings, Queen.
I have kind of a two-part question. The first question is in response to what you mentioned about your conscious scholar constituents and how they have yet to monetarily support your efforts with the school.
Yes.
So my question to you is, has any of those constituents offered to create curriculum in their areas of expertise, or at the very least want to mentor your staff and or students?
Okay, good question. Respectfully, I'm not looking for any of them to write curriculum for me, and I'm not looking for any of them to mentor staff or students. I have a team of educators who I trust, who are experts in the field, not experts because they give lectures, but experts because they really know this. And those are the people who I'm going to be relying on. I know we do have expertise within the conscious community, but I've already assembled a very, very effective team of people that I'm going to need. And although I still have room for more, I'm being very careful who I bring on board. But I'm not in need of anyone from the conscious community in terms of curriculum development.
Okay. And the other part of my question is in regards to updating your progression of this process, meaning that my personal opinion of Facebook and Twitter and all the good stuff, to your point earlier about how the CIA and the FBI has their eyes on you, and certainly they're monitoring your social network accounts and such. And so it's not a great forum to identify details of your progression with this huge project. So
I totally agree. And that's exactly why, in addition to the fact that they're going to take 10% of the money, that's another reason why I really didn't go with the crowdfunding sites. I don't think it's necessarily good security for me, and I just don't think it's good business savvy in general with the magnitude of this project to have it publicized on a crowdfunding site. And even stepping away from the money, even when you're dealing with the details of the curriculum and the operational plan and the personnel plan, okay, and the financial plan, I'm not making a lot of that stuff public. I will have to when significant investors step to the table. Some of the people we're trying to get to actually donate or invest in the school, they may require all of that. And they have a right to it. If you're about to give $500,000 or even $250,000, you have a right to see that stuff. But outside of that, I agree with you. It needs to stay confidential. But I apologize for cutting you off. Go ahead, sir.
No. You answered my question because, I think our heads in the same place. I mean, I'm very uncomfortable making detailed comments and such on Facebook and such because of the all eyes on us making progression and change, and that's the problem, in my opinion, with our people in the past and in the present. We talk too much in the sense of we telegraph our moves. We let them know what we're planning to a fault. It's okay to, identify the community and let them know what we're trying to do, but as far as details and intricacies of our plan is not to be televised, is not to be identified in such public places. So I just want to give respect to you. I'm the young lady who texted you a couple of days ago, Charla, about asking you when you're coming to Atlanta. But, I would really like to see you here before the summer is over, but according to your schedule that you mentioned earlier in this broadcast, doesn't sound like you'll be here pretty soon. So I guess I'm going to have to travel to where you are in the next couple of weeks.